There are people in this world who seem to possess an unusual gift, an ability to sense things beyond the ordinary. I've often been told that I am both a woman of science and one of superstition, though reason typically prevails. However, after spending so much time in the wilderness, I've developed an intuition that science can't quite measure. Before I built my cabin, I lived in an even more isolated place, an old homestead known as Mo City, though it wasn't a city at all, just a collection of abandoned cabins. Twice during my time there, I felt an overwhelming sense of danger outside. Something deep inside me urged me not to step out, and although I'm not one to fear much, I faced wolves, grizzlies, and even hostile people. I trusted that instinct. Who knows why we feel such things? Perhaps it's something ancient within us, a primal awareness we don't fully understand. If you've ever spent time in the wilderness, you know that encountering another person in a remote area feels completely different than meeting them in a town or city. Seeing someone in a shopping mall or a park is normal, but when you're deep in the woods, far from civilization, and you suddenly come across another human being, an unsettling question immediately arises. Who is this person, and what are their intentions? The isolation amplifies the fear because, unlike in a city, there's no one around to help if something goes wrong. One night, I had an experience that remains the most terrifying moment of my life. It was winter, and I was alone in my cabin when my dog suddenly began growling. I looked out the window and saw two men moving around outside. I was miles from anyone, in the middle of nowhere, and yet there they were. As the situation escalated, I did something I had never done before. I grabbed a gun and confronted them. What made it worse was that they knew my name. Hearing a stranger call you by name in an isolated place like that is beyond unsettling. I never found out exactly what they wanted because once I pulled the gun, they left. At the time, I felt completely calm, focused like a predator. But after they were gone, the adrenaline wore off and I started shaking. Later, I learned who they were. I'd been working near the Canadian border, cutting logs to fit transport trucks, and had interacted with a group of loggers there. Apparently, these men were among them. I had never told anyone about that night, but the next day, an older logger I knew stopped me on the road. He had already heard about my visitors through the network of truckers and CB radios. He simply told me, "You won't have to worry about that happening again." He was looking out for me. That experience solidified something I'd always suspected. It's not the animals in the wilderness that you need to fear, it's the people.